Hello, grade 9 students. This time we will focus our lesson on rationalizing denominators. So, for the objectives, let us recall on how to multiply radical expressions. Let us also learn how to rationalize denominators with one radical term. Rationalize denominators with binomials involving radicals, and write radical quotients in lowest terms. So, for the first objectives, okay, recall that this method refers to multiplying the first terms, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms of the binomials. So let us try to recall how to multiply binomials using the FOIL method. Okay, for the FOIL method, we have here for number 1. Okay, 2 times 1 is 2. Outside terms, 2 times square root of 5 is 2 square root of 5. Inner terms, square root of 3 times 1 plus, yes, and last terms, square root of 3 times square root of 5 is square root of 15. Okay, that's the answer now. That's the final answer. Or we can just simply erase 1 here, because 1 square root of 3 means square root of 3. For the second binomial, 16 minus 4 square root of 5 minus 4 square root of 5 minus 5. Or simply 11. Or the shortcut is, since these are sum and difference, two numbers, we just square 4 and subtract the square of square root of 5. So 16 minus 5 is 11. Next, yes, this is the difference of two squares. Square root of 13 minus 2 square means you multiply it, you multiply this binomial by itself. So 13 minus 2 square root of 13 minus 2 square root of 13 plus 4. Then you can subtract this, and then add 13 plus 4, 17, then subtract this. Like radicals, minus 4. 17 minus 4 square root of 13. Yeah, no answer. That was a FOIL method. Another, multiply using the FOIL method. 16 minus 4 cube root of 7 minus plus cube root of 7 minus cube root of 7 square, or 49. So the answer is 16 minus cube root of 49. Kasi na-cancel yan. Ito naman, difference of 2 squares, so r minus s. R minus s lang yan. Difference of squares. Okay, ito na yung objective 2. Let us learn how to rationalize denominators with one radical term. A common way of standardizing the form of a radical expression is to have the denominator contain no radicals. So the process of removing radicals from a denominator so that the denominator contains only rational number is called rationalizing the denominator. This is done by multiplying y by a form of 1. Let us now rationalize each denominator. 5 over square root of 11. So multiply the numerator and denominator by the denominator. This is in effect multiplying by 1. So square root of 11 over square root of 11 is just equal to 1. So it has no effect on the given radical. So that if you multiply square root of 11 by square root of 11, that's square root of 121, or 11. So the answer is 5 square root of 11 over 11. In number 2, let us multiply this by square root of 5. So the answer is 5 square root of 30 over 5. Gets? Oh, ganun man. Or, we can still simplify this. Cancel 5. So, square root of 30. Negative 8 all over square root of 18. What will be multiply here? I think square root of 2. Square root of 2 dapat. Pwede rin square root of 18. But, yung mas maganda yung square root 2 para maging 36. Yung denominator, square root of 36, which is 6. Okay, let's try square root of 18. Negative 8 square root of 18 over 18. But 18 is square root of 9 times 2. So negative 24 over square root of 2 over 18, or negative 4 square root of 2 over 3. So pag 2, if you just multiply this by square root of 2, ayun, square root of 2 over 36. So that 8 over 6, which is negative 4 thirds. How about this? What will we multiply? Okay, let's first simplify. Yung kasi yung 8 4 times 2, yung 45 9 times 5. So it means negative 2/3 square root of 2 over square root of 5. Then let us rationalize. Multiply by radical in the denominator. So the answer is, okay, since meron siyang radical sa denominator, rationalize natin by multiplying 1, which is square root of 5 over square root of 5. So the answer is negative 2 square root of 10 over 3 times 5, which is 15. Yun, negative 2 square root of 10 over 15. Y is greater than 0, square root of 200k to the 6 divided by y to the 7th. Ayan. Yung 200, let's factor 100 times 2. Tapos, k cubed squared. Yun naman y to the 7 sa denominator, y to the 6 times y. So, simplify natin. 10k cubed square root of 2 over y cubed square root of y. But still, meron pa rin denominator. So, we're going to rationalize by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by square root of y over square root of y. So, that the answer is 10k cubed square root of 2y over y to the 4th. Where did we get 4? Kasi yung square root of y times square root of y is y. So, y cubed times y is y to the 4th. Okay. Next, what about this? Cube root of 15 over 32. Right? Cube root of 15 over cube root of 32. Yung 32, we can still factor that. Cube root of 8 times cube root of 4. So that it resulted to cube root of 15 over cube root of 4. But since there is still a radical in the denominator, let's rationalize by multiplying cube root of 2 over cube root of 2, y2. So that the denominator will become cube root of 8. So what will we multiply to 4 to become 8? So 2. So magiging, okay, let's multiply this in the numerator, cube root of 30 over 2 times the cube root of 8. But cube root of 8 is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. So the answer is cube root of 30 over 4. Next, ito naman, fourth root of 6y over fourth root of w squared. So, let's rationalize by multiplying the numerator and the denominator by fourth root of w squared. So that yung denominator magiging w na lang because w squared times w squared is w to the fourth. And fourth root of w to the fourth is w. So the numerator, fourth root of 6yw squared all over w is the answer. Next, for objective 3, let's learn how to rationalize denominators with binomials involving radicals. So, to rationalize a denominator that contains a binomial expression, one that contains exactly two terms involving radicals such as 3 over 1 plus square root of 2, we must use conjugates. So, what is the conjugate of here? 1 plus square root of 2 is 1 minus square root of 2. So, in general, x plus y and x minus y are conjugates. So, how do we rationalize a binomial denominator? So, whenever a radical expression has a sum or difference with square root radicals in the denominator, rationalize the denominator by multiplying both the number and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. Yeah, what's the conjugate? Okay, since there is a radical in the denominator, binomial pa, so you must multiply it by its conjugate, which is 2 plus square root of 3. So 4 times 2 plus square root of 3, yun, over 2 minus square root of 3 times 2 plus square root of 3. So, distributive property, 8 plus 4 square root of 3. Ito naman, shortcut is use square 2, which is 4. Square mo yung square root of 3, which is 3 minus mo siya. So, 1. So, the answer is 4 times the quantity 2 plus square root of 3 or distributive property of multiplication 8 plus 4 square root of 3. Yes? Yung conjugate. Ito naman, what's the conjugate? To be multiplied to rationalize the denominator. Square root of 2 minus square root of 13. So that the denominator will become 2 minus 13, which is negative 11. Then you multiply the numerator. Okay, let us put the negative sign in the numerator. Let us yes, so that negative 7 times square root of 2. Wait. Okay, we can accept this answer now, or you can still yes, distribute. So negative 7 square root of 2 plus 7 square root of 13 over 11. Next, rationalize the denominator by multiplying the denominator and numerator by square root of 2 plus square root of 7. Yan. So that's a denominator magiging 2 minus 7. Yun. Which is negative 5. Then by FOIL method, multiply the two binomials in the numerator. Square root of 6 plus square root of 21 plus square root of 10 plus square root of 35 over negative 5. Or negative quantity square root of 6 plus square root of 21 plus square root of 10 plus square root of 35 plus all over 5. I should say. Okay. Next, how about this? 2 over square root of k plus square root of z. K is not equal to z, and k is greater than 0, z is greater than 0. So you multiply by the conjugate, square root of k minus square root of z. Answer is, sa baba, k minus z na lang. Okay, sa taas, numerator, 2 square root of k minus 2 square root of z. Or simply, 2 times the quantity square root of k minus square root of z. Objective 4, write radical quotients in lowest terms. 24 minus 36 square root of 7 over 16. Answer. Okay, you factor first the numerator and the denominator. So sa numerator, 12 times quantity 2 minus 3 square root of 7. Then, get the lowest term of 12 over 16. 12 is 4 times 3. 16 is 4 times 4. Cancel 4. So the answer is 3/4 times quantity 2 minus 3 square root of 7. Or distributive property, 6 minus 9 square root of 7 over 4. So be careful to factor before writing a quotient in lowest terms. Okay. Another 2x plus square root of 32x squared over 6x. So by product rule, 32, 16 times 2. And yung x squared, iba na yung 16x squared here. Factor niya 4x. Ang natira sa radical sign, 2. So, 2x plus 4x square root of 2 over 6x. You can still simplify this. Common factor is 2x. So, 1 plus 2 square root of 2 over 6x. Cancel x. So, then lowest term of 2 over 6 is 1/3. Yun. So, the final answer is 1 plus 2 square root of 2 over 3. Cancel yung 2, cancel yung x. Natira is 3. Okay, next. Last na pala yun. So, that ends our lesson on how to rationalize radicals. Goodbye, I'll see you next time. Peace.